The New World Order is currently underway.
Between these different countries. At the same time, what you're seeing there are adversaries of the US and partners and allies of the US standing together, and their message is that they want some kind of independence from US dominance in the world. Again, for the next American president, this is the kind of world that they're going to be facing.
University of Tehran joins us now. Thank you very much for being with us, Professor. I just wonder, first of all, what has Iran achieved by this attack on Israel? Very few of the missiles got through. It, in effect, failed. Many people are calling it a humiliation for Iran.
I think that's a lot of wishful thinking on behalf of you and your colleagues at Sky News. It was a massive blow to the Israeli regime. And the history of this conflict doesn't go back to last year. It is 76 years of ethno-supremacism, ethnic cleansing, and this is a racist regime that you support. What the problem is that you cannot recognize that the difference between you and us is that you support racism and racial hierarchy, and we reject it. And the Israeli regime, if they dare strike back at Iran, we will hit them much harder next time. We will beat them into submission.
Well, they will strike back, won't they? No sovereign country can put up with having 180 ballistic missiles fired at them. So they will hit back, they will hit hard, and they could well hit your nuclear facilities, your oil production installations. They could cause Iran serious damage.
Listen, instead of the rhetoric, be real, because you're misleading your own people. Iran has countless underground missile sites with hundreds of thousands of missiles across the country. They were made after the US invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan to deal with a potential war with the United States. So this puny regime, it is not a state, it is a colony. It is a racist, ethno-supremacist colony which the people call themselves the chosen people. Unlike you, we do not believe in chosen people.
A similar agreement that Russia signed with North Korea just earlier this year. So there will be, again, I mean, to ignore what's happening here in Kazan and with these countries would be foolish. It's a sign, again, of a growing alliance between Russia and North Korea and Iran and countries like China. And that is something that is a threat and that, frankly, the US will be hoping that those divisions that I talked about continue, because if they were truly united, that would be a real threat.
Yeah.
Here's a quote from President Maduro at Brics. He says, "Every time a high precision missile falls on an apartment building in Gaza, Beirut, or south of Lebanon, killing men, women, and children, it says fire and destruction to the United Nations system. A new world is possible." End of quote. So what is the New World Order? The Bible describes it as a one-world government under the dominion of Satan. This can be found in Revelation chapter 13. Now, this was always considered to be a conspiracy theory, but as we can see, things are starting to change in this world. It was 12 years ago when I visited the Denver Airport in Colorado. I had noticed these strange murals posted up on the wall. The first one that caught my eyes was seemed to be a Hitler-type figure committing genocide against people. There was another one that seems to be illustrating that the earth was dying. There was trees on fires, and the birds and animals were dying off. And lastly, there was a mural of what seems to be all nations coming together as one. Now, back then, I was deep into the Illuminati conspiracies, so I knew that these things had a meaning and purpose. This is not just random artwork. These murals are coordinated for a future event. Plus, there was Freemasonry symbols all over the airport, and that was the dead giveaway for what they have planned for humanity. Albert Pike, a 33rd degree Freemason, had said this about the future of the world. He said, "A third world war will occur between political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economical exhaustion. Now, Albert Pike wrote this in the 1800s. So how did he know that a third world war would occur between those two powers, the Islamic world and the Zionist? This is because they are into the occult. They believe in Lucifer. That is why they are Freemasons. Freemasons, as well as the Illuminati, are being used as vessels to bring about the Luciferian New World Order that is to come. But this is also a part of Bible prophecy. These things must happen in order for prophecy to be fulfilled. So what we are witnessing today are plans that were deliberately put into motions to bring about their agenda. This figure on this mural in the Denver airport is not Hitler, but it is someone who is alive today. And the crying women and the children and the babies that you see being destroyed under the rubble, who do they remind you of?
We were sleeping when the house was bombed and the rubble fell on the children, she says. For those left alive, this is life, braving the winter in massive tent cities. The hungry mob aid trucks entering Gaza. CBS News found hundreds standing in a food line Friday, a handout away from starvation. I'm here to get food for my siblings because we can't afford it, says this girl. Did you get any food, asks producer Marwan El Ghul. No, it's too crowded, she replies.
We are witnessing the New World Order being formed right before our eyes. It is order out of chaos. That is how the Freemasons wants to bring about this agenda. The masses will never worship Satan knowingly. So they have to bring all this chaos, destruction, and death in order to bring about a false peace so that the masses will be willing to accept this Luciferian agenda. So that is the purpose of the Hitler-like mural in the Denver airport. It is showing that a rise in wars and destruction worldwide will cause people to accept a global peacekeeping solution, which was already predetermined by those who rule over the world. War is one way, but another way they hope to achieve this agenda is through so-called climate change. If enough people fear the threat of climate change, more nations will be obliged to follow the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, forfeiting their national sovereignty for a global set of laws and policy in order to save the earth. If you are unaware, in 2015, more than 150 countries signed up for this agenda. This means that the United Nations policies were overruled the sovereignty of that nation, and the citizens of said nations did not have a vote in being a part of this agenda. Now, before I move on to what they have next planned, I first want to point out that these things that are happening are not scripted. Real people are being affected and innocent people are dying out here. So it's important that we not lose our human compassion, even though these evil people are going to be using this chaos and destruction all across the world to fulfill their agenda. But the innocent ones being affected did not sign up for this, and that goes to the ones who are suffering in Gaza, as well as what happened to those in Maui. On one hand, you have war and genocide, and on the other hand, you have a wildfire, which all plays into their agenda. So war, and then you have climate change. Next, we have religion. Remember, Albert Pike said that World War III will be between Islam and Zionist. So the root cause of World War III will be religious extremism, populations will be more open to the idea of a unified one-world religion in order to achieve peace. And this is what the Pope is currently doing to fulfill this mission. He's going around the world promoting a one-world religion, as he says that everyone worships the same God, which is not true. But this is all a part of the Luciferian agenda that they have planned. So in this Denver Airport mural that you're seeing, they have Palestine flags as well as the flag of Israel and America and Russia bundled up in swords, and they're about to throw them away or discard them. And you see a promotion of unity between all the nations coming together, all different ethnicities coming together as one. So this symbolizes the end of national sovereignty and the beginning of global governance. Now, some may wonder, how can a small group of powerful men have success while plotting to dominate the entire world? Well, this is because they're not doing it by their own power. They have the spiritual forces of evil backing them up. So that's why it seems unbelievable that a small amount of men can cause so much coordinated chaos in this world. But it's not them, it's what's behind them. For what is a man profited if he should gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what should a man give in exchange for his soul? Matthew chapter 16, verse 26. The Rothschild family, who is one of the most powerful banking families in the world, is responsible for what we are seeing today. The Zionist agenda of a national Jewish homeland in Palestine was signed off by the Rothschild family. But in 1947, it was the United Nations who made the nation of Israel a reality. Now, since there was already an existing population in the land of Palestine, the United Nations passed a resolution to divide the land between Arabs and Jewish people. And the city of Jerusalem was to serve as a separate entity to be governed by a special international regime. I personally believe that Jerusalem is going to be used to build the third temple in order to blaspheme the Most High, as is mentioned in Bible prophecy. But as far as the United Nations and the Rothschilds creating a Jewish state in the middle of Muslim territories, it's quite evident that they wanted things to boil over as is happening now. And it has been that way since 1948. Israel has been a divided land, and it has not been at peace since its inception. The description of the Most High's prophecy in gathering Israel in Isaiah chapter 11 does not fit what we are seeing today. The division in that land has brought us on the verge of World War III, as Albert Pike had predicted. They took advantage of the differences between Zionism and Islamic nations. It is not a coincidence that a far-right political party is set up in Israel and has power in the government. And this same political party is known for being anti-Arab. So they're purposely doing things to enrage the Arabs in that region, such as visiting the Temple Mount and just kicking people out of their homes and deporting people. They purposely want to escalate things as we are seeing today. The outcome that they want is a war between Iran and Zionist Israel. This will bring about World War III, as Albert Pike had predicted.
سنجعل البارجات الأمريكية والمصالح الأمريكية وكذلك الحركة الملاحية الأمريكية هدفا لصواريخنا وطائراتنا المسيرة وعملياتنا العسكرية. نحن لسنا ممن يجف مكتوف الأيدي والعدو يضربه. نحن شعب نأبى الضيم. وأحب الأمور إلينا وما نأمله وما نتمناه وكنا نتمناه منذ اليوم الأول أن تكون الحرب مباشرة بيننا وبين الأمريكي والإسرائيلي ولا أن يحارب.
I was actually a question inside of because I was saying that the Federal Reserve was one of these organizations. It's one of these organizations that a lot of people say is the source of inhumane projects all across the world because it's a private thing. That was started by your family.
No, it's completely untrue. I was asked that earlier. It really isn't true.
Jekyll Island, 1913, sir. But sir, just one thing. We could go about how your family committed all these acts against society, but we just want to let you know the New World Order has no legitimacy, and that we as a people are not afraid, and we are waking up to the robber barons and the big banksters who are looting this economy with the Federal Reserve.
Well,